Oh my goodness, we have done it. Master rank 1. There it is, boys. 200 gems. And we did it with a 7-win streak with FLOOWANDEREEZE, going flawless in Master rank 2, 5-0. There's the match history. You can see our Master rank 5 match still on the log in the last 20 matches. So Master rank, whew, what a beast. Of course, using FLOOWANDEREEZE, right? Check the video link in the description for the deck list. But there it is, boys. In this video, we are going to be wrapping up my Season 20 Master 1 run. It was a pretty historic one in my opinion. If you've been watching my videos ever since the start of the season where we were reset to Diamond 5, you know that we maintained an 80% win rate or higher in all of Diamond rank. We ended up going to Master and we maintained that 80 to 85% win rate in all of Master rank. Again, every rank in each tier is on my channel. You can check those videos out. And we end with our last 20 matches on an 85% win rate, 17 wins and only 3 losses. What we're going to review in this video are my final 5 matches to hit Master rank 1. Let's get into it. So after we hit Master rank 2, we actually didn't play for like 2 days, and on the Saturday, August the 19th, we ended up jumping into some matches. The nerves were a little high. I was definitely feeling the pressure, not only because I want to hit Master rank 1 and I'm so close, but because I was like, this could be an insane run given my win rate throughout this whole season, right? Like I mentioned in the starting clip. So anyways, we win the coin toss for our first match. That's always a good sign. We start off with Extravagance and Shifter. The opponent reveals the Gamma, and to be honest, this is actually not that bad. Shifter is just added Interruption on top of your FLOOWANDEREEZE engine, so if it does get Gamma, you bait it out a negate, which is good. The Extravagance draws us into a Duality and another Shifter, and we're still bricked up, so we have to hope that this Duality can draw us into something playable. And the final card that was revealed is the Poor Man's Map, aka Goldsark. So the reason I call it Poor Man's Map is because instead of activating map and then banishing the bird you need and then, you know, playing from there, you just end up banishing the bird you need and you don't get the extra normal summon. But hey, it's good enough for now. So we're going to go ahead and activate Gold Sarcophagus, and of course we're going to banish Robina. And we're safe from an imperm, but when we bring back this Robina and summon it, if the opponent has Ash, we likely lose because we lost our additional layer of interruption or disruption with the Dimension Shifter being negated by the Gamma. So of course we're just going to go standard rotation. If we do end up resolving all of this, which it looks like we are going to be able to, it's going to be super strong because we're going to end on Empin, Trap Card, and the Fossil Dyna, and that's going to prevent the special summons from the opponent. If they are on Tearlaments or something that plays Super Poly, even if we put a second winged beast on the field that's a wind, they can't Super Poly it away because of Fossil Dyna. They can't Kaiju, not that anybody really plays those right now, but this card shuts down a lot of potential interruptions that the opponent might want to play. They could Sphere Mode though, because that counts as a normal summon, I think. Anyways, the opponent starts off by revealing, this is insane, Sandman, which is the Trap Negate tribute for Trap. And I go ahead and I activate Dreaming Town because if you negate this, you've used up your normal summon. You need another way to out this Patchy, otherwise you can't play. And if you play this, it's a good tell that you're on Adamancipator. So we go ahead and we activate Trap Card, and their only hope is I mess up here and I don't go for what I need to, because if they tribute the Sandman, they're not going Battle Phase and they're not going to be able to beat over the Fossil Dyna anyways. So of course, we don't even take the risk, we just go Eaglin, chain block it so that we ensure the Ryza search, and then summon Ryza to spin the cards back, and we put back a Duality. The opponent realizes, yep, I can't play through it, and they end up scooping it up. If you watch my deck list review videos of the matches that I played, you know that this guy was on Vernusylph, Adamancipator. So at this point, I was on a 3-win streak and 1-0 in rank 2. Opening hand once again is the Patchy and Dimension Shifter. This match was actually crazy. I start off normal summon Eaglin. The opponent sat here and thought for like 30 seconds. And if they don't do what they're about to do, they likely win the game. I knew that they had this because of how they were thinking. And this is technically the right play if I'm trying to bait you. But if I wasn't baiting you, this is the wrong play. Because yes, you want to negate Eaglin because it stops the search of the tribute monster. If I have any way to extend, if I get that tribute monster to my hand, that's my way to set up my board. So negating this is the right play, because if I'm just on small birds, I can't do anything if this is negated. So he ends up trying to negate, and thank goodness, because if they didn't and we had to do this anyways, and then we got the Robina to hand, and we normal summon the Robina, and they imperm that. Our turn is done. So we thankfully are able to dodge the imperm here and chain shifter, otherwise we won't be able to. And at this point, I'm like, holy crap, I can't believe I was able to play through that, because that's why you do that there, right? That's why you normal summon the Eaglin to bait interruption. I bet most of you would have just, okay, Advent of Adventure away the Eaglin, search Robina, summon Robina, then you get stopped with the imperm, right? So why it's super important to make sure that you bait interruptions and you use your cards to play around those interruptions, right? That's what FLOOWANDEREEZE needs to do. That's why we play things like Call by the Grave and Advent of Adventure. I was kind of hoping the opponent had Ash instead though, so I can get some utility out of my Called By, because now if they do have Ash, well, I'm going to be able to chain block, so they're not going to be able to Ash me here. But if they do Ash under Shifter, this Call by the Grave can't banish the Ash, because it'll get discarded to the banish pile. So the Ash will resolve. But thankfully, because we banished the Eaglin with the Advent, when we summon the Robina, we're able to search for Eaglin. So we search Toucan here to grab back the Advent because it was banished off of the Shifter resolving. And then we're going to go ahead and summon the Empin, chain block it with the Robina. So even if they had Ash Blossom, once again, you see how this setup and the way that we played was able to play around the Ash Blossom as well as bait out the Imperm, which was really good. And if they Ashed, we had to Call by. If they Ashed first, that is, right? So we were good as long as the opponent used that imperm in that scenario, so thank goodness they did. We set 2 and pass, and the reason we do this is because if they have an evenly matched, we're going to be able to Advent back away the Empin so that it gets banished face up, and then we just banish the Advent of Adventure and the trap card. Yes, we lose our 1 of trap, but they've used their battle phase, which means they can't beat over Patchy. We're golden. They can't do anything really in main phase 2. We just end up playing through, and we retain our Empin. So this is why we set things up this way. Very important to note if you want to be successful with FLOOWANDEREEZE. The opponent realizes they can't break through this board, and they just end up resigning. Again, in my deck list review video of my opponents, this guy was on the Melffy Spright, a very good list in my opinion. Pretty much the best Spright Melffy list you can make in my opinion. So they just couldn't play through the Patchy and the Empin and the trap card, so they end up scooping it up. So to start things off in this match, we are going second, which is fine. We won our first 2 coin tosses of Master Rank 2, and we're on a 4-win streak, up +2, just needing 3 more wins hit Master Rank 1, so I'm expecting to lose some matches. The opponent starts off very strong with the Fenrir search Fenrir, and they reveal that they're on Tearlaments, pitching a Merly for the Sharon, and they milled the nuts. Another Merly, so they have double material engraved to fuse, a beast to draw and go into Winda if they want, which would be good for me, but normally for everyone else it would be really bad, and the Scream to search for trap cards. So, you know, they're doing really well here, and this guy was on their rank down game, so I felt kind of bad, but I felt like the game was probably going to give him what he needs to try to win. So they end up searching Sulik off of the Scream. The Merly is going to fuse into Kit Kalos, of course. And I'm just like, it's only a matter of time before they mill an Ishizu Miller, and then they see what I'm on, and they draw a card and grab Merly off of the Kit, and now they're gonna do the Mill 8 combo. So we only know Sulik in hand, I believe, at this point, and and Fenrir. So we know 2 out of the 3 cards, and look at this mill that they get. It's absolutely crazy. They mill Meta Noise, not that they're gonna bring anything back. Yeah, they could bring back Merly because they already used literally the summon and the fuse for Merly. They milled the Mudora, the Kelbeck, the Keldo, and the Agito. They milled all 4 Ishizu cards, and I was like, bro, are you kidding me? Out of 8, you mill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 good cards, and the 6th to even use the 5th good card with. 6 out of 8 of your mills were good, and your first 3 off Sharon were also nuts. I guess some people are just built different, or their decks are built different, I should say, but props to this guy for building his deck the correct way, maybe? But I think if you watch my deck list review video, where I reviewed their deck list, I kind of said I wasn't a big fan of this guy's deck, and you know, he just happened to hit the nuts here. But yeah, now that they've milled our deck, we can see what actually impacts us here. We would have drawn Pot of Extravagance for turn, drawing into Eclipse and Eaglin. That's kind of insane. That would have really helped us out. But losing these aren't too problematic, since we can likely still play through and search for the other ones remaining in our deck. The losing of the Monarch hurts, of course, because that's a 1 of, but everything else here doesn't really impact us too much. I mean, it would have been nice to draw the Extravagance and then, you know, draw 2 more, but it is what it is. So off Meta Noise, they bring back Merly, and then they're going to resolve the Rhino as well, and the Havness that they get off of the Mill 10. So yeah, they're just hitting everything at this point, right? They go into Dragos Tapalia because they know we're on FLOOWANDEREEZE, so that is the right play. No point in going into Root Kalos. And they end up special summoning the Rhino and pitching the Merly that they brought back with the Meta Noise, so free resource, and then they pitched the final fusion name in the Sharon. So this guy literally got everything you could possibly ask for. They got all 3 fusions, they've got their trap card, they've got their interruption for next turn, and by the way, for those of you that have seen the new ban list coming out on August 31st, this is why Merly is getting banned, is because, you know, Spright Elf, Tearlaments shouldn't be able to use this, and they shouldn't be able to use Sprint. So yeah, let's stop this extension. So and also we don't have to worry about the Yugioh. We only have to worry about 1 Kelbeck now, which is nice. Anyways, getting back into the match, the opponent has 2 Merlys. They got a wealth of resources. They can afford to bring 1 back in case I out their Kaleido because they didn't put it under Elf. They have a Merly that they can use their Sulic with still, and they have a Merly engraved they can bring back with the Elf as well. So the opponent is like, you know, golden at this point. However, I noticed that, you know, you've likely set your Sulic here. So you don't have Crime, you don't have Super Poly, and you don't have Imperm. So evenly matched. Might do some work here. So they pass over to us, and we draw Robina, which is great. They're going to go ahead and Elf when we attempt to go battle phase. And I'm like, even if they hit here, it shouldn't be too significant. They do miss. And this is a good tell. They mill the Scream, and they don't have anything to search. So they're playing Sulic, which they set, and they've already searched. There's no way they have Crime in hand and left it in hand. And they've used Meta Noise already, that's been milled. So they're only playing Meta Noise and Sulic, which is very interesting. So we go battle phase and evenly matched. The opponent ends up keeping Dragostapelia because again, they know we're on FLOOWANDEREEZE. And now we're going to go ahead and try to play. We're going to activate Unexplored Winds, summon the Robina. They do the right play and trying to negate with the Dragostapelia, but we have, thankfully, the Advent of Adventure to dodge it. And then they're going to Ash the Advent to prevent us searching for a bird or map. And that's totally fine because we're still going to be able to resolve the Eaglin. And we've baited the Ash interruption as well. Not really baited, but you know, we don't have to worry about Ash negating us, but we're going to be able to chain block the whole way through at this point anyways. Because off Eaglin, we're going to search for Snarl, and this would normally be a problem, right guys? Thank goodness we drew the one of Unexplored Winds, because we're going to be able to tribute off the opponent's card and bring out the Empin. Make a misplay here. Yes, I should have gone for Snarl and then use Snarl effect to summon 2 more times, summon the Toucan, you know, bring back the Eaglin, I guess, and then I guess maybe this is not a misplay. Yeah, maybe it isn't. I thought it was a misplay like when I made it, but I think it's actually better this way to keep this in hand so I can use it during my opponent's turn to tribute off one of their cards. If I wanted to. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. Because there's nothing else on the opponent's field, I'd have to double summon birds in order to get the Snarl out, or the Empin out if I summon Snarl first and had Empin in hand. So anyways, we just go standard, very basic rotation. We're putting the opponent on you better have something because the Dreaming Town is going to be able to play during their turn. And we outed the Fenrir with evenly matched the first time, but we can definitely out it with the Unexplored Winds the second time. So I'm not worried about Fenrir in and of the least. This card beats Fenrir, and I'll explain why when we get to that interaction. The opponent summons Fenrir, and obviously they drew Scream per turn. This is like the biggest tell ever, right? And they have a Bestial in hand, and I'm like, this is great. And I'm like, your last card in hand, we know we banished your only 2 Merlys. Your Kaleido Heart is gone, your Elf is gone, which is likely one ofs, right? Your one of Sulic is gone. So we've really decimated your resource game here. Your Kit Kalos is engraved too, I believe. Or did they? No, they returned it with the fusion for Dragostapelia. Okay, so they still have Kit Kalos, but they have a Sharon engraved, so they've only got 1 Sharon in deck and then double Havness. My fear here is if they have Havness and I activate an effect, they're going to mill 6. And they have, well, I guess if they have Havness in hand, that means they have 1 in deck and 1 Sharon left in deck. Out of the 10 cards remaining, what are the odds that they mill either of those? I don't know if they shuffled their deck since they put stuff back. I imagine they did. But they also have Grave Shufflers that they can put stuff back with, so there's also that problem. And it makes my Stree dead too, right? The Grave Shuffler. So this game is not over, and I have to play around. I have to be very aware of what the opponent has in terms of their interruptions. So like I said, I'm not worried about Fenrir here, so I opt to not even activate Trap Card. Because I don't want to play into like a bait where they have Havness and I summon the bird, they're able to Havness, they don't end up ending their turn, now they're able to play and just like out my board somehow or you know, decimate my resources with whatever they have left, which hard to believe, but I was playing it 100% safe. So they pass back to us, we draw Extravagance, and that's great. This is going to 2 next list, so okay, sure. We draw the Book of Eclipse, which is cool. We're summoning the Eaglin, and this is the moment of truth. If you have Havness, you're going to mill 6 and hope that you hit something. They do not have the Havness, so we search for the only bird left in our deck, the tribute monster that is, in the Apex. And then we're going to use Unexplored Winds to grab the Snowl to hand. No map, no problem. Snowl effect to summon 2 more times. Now we normal summon Robina, and yeah, we don't even bother to bring back the Eaglin because we have Eaglin in hand, and I guess they don't have Ash or Havness, which is good. And at this point now I can use Unexplored Winds once again to out the opponent's Fenrir, I think it was there. Yeah, so they opted not to use Fenrir. We outed the Fenrir on the first tribute summon. I didn't explain the interaction, sorry guys. So because part of the first bird resolving on the field is the summon as well, the new chain link to activate the Fenrir effect doesn't activate until I put that tribute monster on board. So because Unexplored Winds outs the Fenrir during the chain link, because the effect of Unexplored Winds is applied during the chain, it's not an activated effect. And this is how, again, if you watch my videos, you know that Unexplored Winds can out things like, I mean, it's not in the game yet, but Ex-Pearly Noir, it can out Psychic End Punisher. It can out these cards that say they're not affected by activated effects. It cannot out cards that say they're unaffected by opponents' card effects. Things like the Full Armor Blackwing Master guy and the Geomathemic Final Sigma in the extra monster zone. But because we put Snowl on board tributing off or sending the Fenrir, no new chain link was able to start, so the Fenrir is already off the field by the time it has a chance to try to activate its effect, therefore its effect doesn't activate. And at this point we have Lethal on board, tributing off the opponent's Druisworm that doesn't do anything against us because we don't special summon. We're able to go for game and the opponent ends up resigning. This was my most intense match of Master Rank 2 to get to Master Rank 1. So after playing through that last match, I'm like, Konami, you gotta give me something good now because you gave that last guy everything, including going first, and we were able to overcome it. So I better get decent matches for my next 2 because I'm on a 5-win streak now, 2 matches away from Master Rank 1. We start off with the duality and the opponent ashes it, and I'm like, that is amazing considering I have the Robina and Eaglin in hand. I make an interesting play here going for Eaglin first, and the reason I do this, let me know if you guys, like before I say it, pause this video and comment below if you know the reason why I summon Eaglin first. Okay, I'm gonna go into it now. You summon Eaglin first in this particular situation because I have Robina, Eaglin, and Book of Eclipse. If they have an imperm, they imperm this Eaglin. This is what you want to imperm. Even if I summon Robina, you might still try to imperm the Eaglin, but if you take the risk and summon Robina and they imperm the Robina, yes, you have the Book of Eclipse still. But this is a target that you actually want to bait the imperm with, because if you Book of Eclipse this Eaglin, it flips face down, that's fine, it resolves, you get your Empin, you summon Robina, you search for your bird, and then you put the Empin on board. When you put the Empin on board, if you end up tributing the Eaglin, I mean in this instance you can summon Robina, bring another bird, summon that bird, and tribute those 2, but your Eaglin is still face down. If I had to flip this Robina face down to search, the Robina would be face down, and if it gets outed, either by tribute or by someone beating over it, it would go to graveyard because it's face down. So I'd much rather have the Eaglin be face down and go to graveyard rather than the Robina, because if the Robina goes to graveyard, I have no way to search the additional follow-up small birds. If the Eaglin goes to graveyard, that's fine, I can just summon the Robina and search another Eaglin, right? So in this instance, you want to bait the imperm with the Eaglin so that you Book of Eclipse, flip the Eaglin face down, normal summon Robina, it stays face up. You can tribute the Robina, put it in the banished pile, get it back. The Eaglin, if it goes to grave, because it's face down, not a problem. So yep, everything resolves fine. The opponent doesn't end up having any more disruption, so that's fine here. We search for a DD Crow because there's no point searching for another small bird. It doesn't do anything in this particular situation. And we're going to be able to resolve our effects, keep the Robina in the banished pile so that we can chain block it with the Eaglin in case the opponent does have multiple Ash. This will ensure that our Dreaming Town will resolve to protect the Fossil Dyna. We've got DD Crow in case they are on a graveyard deck like Dragon Link, Branded, or Tearlaments. And we've got the Book of Moon Disruption in case somehow they're able to out our cards. We can out their board as well by flipping it face down. And this guy was indeed on Tearlaments, so once they see us set up our board, knowing that we got full combo, they just end up scooping it up on turn 0. And this was going to be it. This is our rank up game. We are 4 wins in a row in Master Rank 2, 6-win streak overall. I win the coin toss, and I'm like, please Konami, just give me a good hand to go with. And our hand is actually amazing because we have Eaglin and Gold Sarcophagus that we can banish the Robina with. We've got Pot of Prosperity to dig for a disruption negate, I guess you can say. Like if we can search for Advent of Adventure to dodge an Imperm or a Veiler. We can search for like a map or another bird or something, right? So our opening hand is pretty good, and we have Trap card, which isn't bad because that means if we do resolve Empin, we can search for map or something like that. So we can get at least two FLOOWANDEREEZE power spells in rotation. This opponent was on Sky Striker. They're playing triple Veiler, double Imperm, 1 Ash, and 1 Ghost Mourner. So they got a lot of disruption that they can potentially draw to stop me on turn 1. But they were on Master Rank 3, and we were on Master Rank 2 during this game. And they saw I was on my rank up game. And may God bless your heart, good sir, because maybe they bricked, or maybe they were just being kind. I'll definitely pay it forward if I run into Master 2 players trying to get into Master 1 when I'm in Master 1. They end up scooping, giving me the free win. Anticlimactic way to hit Master 1, but you know what? Sometimes when you're dealing with that stress, you'll just take it. So one small cop-out at the end of a great season in my opinion, and that's going to wrap it up for Season 20. That is how we hit Master Rank 1.